Why?
Okay, so there's the fourth aliyah of Parashat Beshalach, like we mentioned, for those who want to have segula of Parnasa, or for those who want to have segula to get married this year, he should read the fourth aliyah twice after Leil HaSeder. Now, why is that? The Zohar Kadosh in Parashat Beshalach, if I'm not mistaken, in page Nun Zayin, says something that is incredible. It says that when Bnei Israel, they came and they started to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu when they were in Yam Suf. So when they stood and they saw the ocean in front, and they saw the desert on the other side, and they saw the animals on the other side, and then behind them they saw the Egyptians, they started to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, right now, prayer is not going to help you. So the Zohar HaKadosh asks, what do you mean prayer is not going to help you? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, it's not a time for prayer, it's a time for action. Why it's not a time for prayer? We know it's always a time for tefillah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is always there to hear us. Why now it's not a time for tefillah? So the Zohar HaKadosh says something most incredible. It says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, the prayer that they're doing right now is not enough to cause the miracle I have in mind. Why? Because the miracle I have in mind is Atik Yomin. It comes from a place which is Atik. What does Atik mean? It comes from a place which is ancient. In other words, far away. It's very, very far. The prayers that they're going to pray right now don't have the capacity and they don't have the strength to reach to a place of Atik Yomin, an ancient place, which is, like we said yesterday, the rivers of Mazal, Narot Mazal. So, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said the only thing that will cause them to bring the miracle that they have in mind, they need something which is powerful, something that has action, something that will go straight to an ancient place, which is Atik Yomin, and from there the Shefa will come down. Because the miracle they needs to come from Atik Yomin, from an ancient place. That is why prayers were not significant at that time. Prayer is not significant at that time because prayers will not have the time and will not have the strength to reach to Atik Yomin in a fast enough manner. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, act. Actions will push forward. If you act with Mesiut Nefesh and you act with Gvura, I will be able to open up that gate of Atik Yomin. Bnei Israel acted that time, where it says that the entire Shevet of Reuven jumped into the ocean with Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon ben Aminadav was a man that lived at that time. He jumped first, and all Shevet Reuven jumped after them. And they got to the place where the water was here. When they got to the place where the water reached their throat, and they put in an action, what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do? He went to Atik Yomin. He went to that place which the rivers of Mazla are attached there, and he opened it up, and he brought them the miracle of Kriyat Yam Suf. Now, that action of opening the gate of Kriyat Yam Suf, that action exists on the night of Pesach. So the action of opening Atik Yomin, that ancient place, it's every single night of Pesach. Now, what is also attached to those rivers of Atik Yomin? The Mazal. What is attached to the Mazal? A person's Parnasa, a person's life, and a person's zivug. So those two things, Parnasa and zivug, or even long life, a person could achieve by doing what? By connecting themselves to the opening of Atik Yomin. So, when we are in Leil HaSeder, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu embeds that action of opening up the rivers of Mazal in order to create the tearing of the sea, a person can also take advantage of that time in order to change the Mazal, meaning the Zivug, and also to change his state of Parnasa, because that gate is open. So if it's open, then let's grab the two other things that we can attach to and we can take. So when we read Kriyat Yam Suf, we essentially are bringing back that action that Bnei Israel did that caused them to open up the rivers of Mazal, and if we can re-imitate and reconnect to that thought and that action that they did, maybe we can open it up also for ourselves with Parnasa and with Zivug. And that's why it's so important after the Seder we read twice the entire Aliyah of Revit. So from the beginning of Aliyah of Revit of Parashat Beshalach until the end, one who does so can reach to the point of receiving an opening and a changing of one's Mazal on a perspective of Parnasa, and a changing and an opening of one's Mazal on a perspective of Zivug. That's why it is so important.